Hi everybody, welcome back to part 2. So in part 1 we did the top herringbone section of our earring. In part 2 we're going to do this fringe. So you should have a decent length of thread from part 1. So go ahead, take your stop bead off and thread your needle. Okay. And remember, we are using this softer thread, so our fringe should drop nicely. All right, so we're going to pick up 3 of our green beads, then 1 brown bead, then 2 green beads, then 2 brown beads. Okay, so we've got 3 green, 1 brown, 2 green, 2 brown so far. Go ahead and push that down. Then we're going to pick up 1 green and 3 brown. So 1 green, 3 brown, push that down. And then we're going to pick up 1 gold, 1 brown, and 1 gold. So a gold, a brown, a gold. Push that down. And then we're going to pick up 1 of our fire polish beads. And finally, we're going to pick up 3 of our blue beads. So 3 blue beads. Push all of that down. Okay. Now we're going to turn and go back up. So you're going to skip your 3 blue beads and you're going to go up from the fire polish all the way back up to the top, plus into that bottom bead of the first row. Okay, so go ahead and go all the way up all of those beads. Yay, I got untangled. This just got caught around my my thread. So yes, when you pull it, it should form into a little triangle like this. You see this little triangle of beads, like 3 little, just like that. Okay. All right, so now we're going to turn and go down the very next bead on that bottom row. So the idea here is that we add 3 extra green beads before we start our pattern. So go ahead and pick up your 3 extra green beads. So 3 green beads, and that's going to make this fringe slightly longer. Okay. So just like we did before, we pick up 3 green, 1 brown, 2 green, 2 brown, push all of that down, 1 green, 3 brown, 1 gold, 1 brown, 1 gold. Oh, sorry, grabbed a green by accident. So 1 gold, 1 brown, 1 gold. Then our fire polish bead and our 3 blue. 3 blue. So your fire polish and then 3 blue, push all of that down. Let's see if I can do this without getting looped. All right, so skip your 3 blue beads and go back up through all the other beads and into the bottom of your earring, the bottom bead of that row. Pull. Yay, it worked. Okay. And we now have 2 fringes. So go ahead and sew down into your next row, the bottom bead of your next row. Okay. And now we're going to pick up, so we picked up 3 extra green on this row. We're going to pick up 6 extra green beads on this row. So go ahead and pick up 6 green beads. And then we're going to start our pattern. So it's 3 green beads, 1 gold bead, 2 green beads, sorry, not gold, brown, 2 green beads, 2 brown beads, one green bead, 3 brown beads. One gold, 1 brown, 1 gold, our fire polish, and 3 blue beads. Skip your 3 blue beads at the end. And you'll notice I like to just do this on my beading mat. For me, it makes it a little bit easier than trying to hold it in the air. And then go up through just that bottom bead. And when you're pulling, depending on what your thread is, so my thread, this KO thread, has a little bit of spring to it, which I quite like. You want to pull tight enough so that it isn't loose, like it's not got gaps, but you also don't want to pull it so tight that it's going to warp. So you just be very conscious of your tension. All right, so now our 4th row, we're going to add 12. So remember on, 9 extra green beads, but 12. So we did 3 here, we did 6 extra green beads here. We're going to do 9 extra green beads here. So go ahead and pick those up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I've got my 9 extra green beads plus my 3 for the beginning of the pattern. So 3 and 1 gold. I mean, why do I keep calling it gold? 1 brown, 3 green, 1 brown. Then 2 green and 2 brown. Then 1 green and 3 brown. Okay, so that's your pattern. So you've got 3 green, 1 brown, 2 green, 2 brown, 1 green, 3 brown. Then your gold, green, gold, brown, gold. Pick up your fire polish and your 3 blue beads. And then you're ready to go up that fringe. So skip those 3 blue beads at the bottom and go up all the rest of your beads. sometimes you kind of have to tease those bottom ones until they go into the proper shape. Okay, so we have now completed 1/2 of our fringe. And the other half is exactly the same, but in reverse. So it's just a mirror image. So we're going to do exactly the same as what we did here. So you'll have 9 green beads plus your 3, 1, 2, 2, 1, 3, your gold, brown gold, your fringe, and your turn. Then here we'll have exactly the same as this row. This row will have exactly the same as this row, and this one will be exactly the same as that row. So here you would add your 6 extra beads on your this one, you'd add your 3 extra beads and no extra beads on the end. So instead of actually sitting here and going through all of that with you, I'm going to assume you can look at what you've already done. So I will meet you back once I've got that on and we will tie it off. Okay, so I just put on my last bit of fringe there, and I'm coming out the bottom bead of my earring. If I am actually very short on thread, but if I had extra, I could go up and run through this section here again to smooth out any bumps that were unpleasant. I actually kind of like to push it out a little like that, and I don't think it looks bad. So if you're having trouble though, you can go back in and reinforce this area. So for tying it off, it's exactly what we did when we tied off this side in part 1 of the video. So you just go under the thread that's next to you and then through the loop. And when you pull it, it makes like a half hitch knot, and then you can just go up a couple more beads, do the same thing again. You just go underneath, like through the gap between your 2 beads there. I'm not going into a bead, I'm just going through the gap. And then, oops, I just unthreaded my needle, but then you would pass your needle through the loop. See if I can get it in. Oh yeah, look at that. Whew, what a pro. All right. And then go ahead and pull that. And just do sort of 3 or 4 knots. And that should be plenty. I'll just leave it at that for now. So then you can cut it off. You can get your whatever earring finding you want and just loop it through this loop that we made at the top. And you're ready to go with your fringy, and see how nice that flows. This is why I love this KO thread. It's so good for fringes. It doesn't, I've had trouble with Nymo where it'll kind of not straighten out, but I've never had that problem with this one. I love the KO. And the Sonoko Nozu thread is also good. Sorry if I said that wrong. But yeah, KO is my absolute favorite. So, all right, you guys, I will see you in the next video, and I hope you enjoy these earrings, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.